For centuries, humans have dreamt of stepping into other worlds, of experiencing the impossible. What if I told you that this dream is no longer confined to science fiction? We are on the cusp of a technological revolution. This revolution is virtual reality, or VR. VR is here and evolving rapidly. Imagine stepping onto the surface of Mars, exploring the depths of the ocean, or traveling through time to witness historical events firsthand. All of this and more is becoming possible through VR. Our brains are remarkable organs, constantly taking in information from our senses. But what happens when the information we receive is carefully manipulated? VR technology can hack our perception, creating the illusion of being in a digital environment. VR headsets replace our view of the real world with a computer-generated one. They use screens and lenses to create a sense of depth. Spatial audio adds another layer of realism to the VR experience. Let's take a closer look at the technological trifecta that makes virtual reality possible: headsets, sensors, and controllers. The VR headset is your window into the virtual world, replacing your view of the real world with a computer-generated environment. These headsets are packed with technology, including high-resolution displays, motion sensors, and lenses that create a sense of depth and immersion. Sensors, both within the headset and placed in your environment, track your movements in the real world and translate them into corresponding movements within the virtual space. This allows you to move around freely in the virtual environment, interacting with objects and characters as if you were really there. Finally, VR controllers held in your hands allow you to interact with the virtual environment with a level of precision and control that was previously unimaginable. These controllers can track your hand movements and gestures, allowing you to pick up objects, manipulate tools, and even engage in virtual handshakes. Together, these three components work in perfect harmony to create the illusion of being present in a virtual world. But the real magic happens when we combine this technology with the power of three-dimensional graphics and spatial audio. Imagine stepping into a painting where the brushstrokes come alive, the colors envelop you, and the world expands in all its three-dimensional glory. That's the power of three-dimensional graphics in virtual reality. VR relies on sophisticated software and powerful computers to create these immersive virtual environments. These environments are built using three-dimensional graphics which use polygons, textures, and lighting effects to create realistic-looking objects and spaces. But visual realism is only part of the equation. To truly immerse ourselves in a virtual world, we need to engage our auditory senses as well. This is where spatial audio comes in. Spatial audio is a technology that simulates the way sound travels and interacts with our surroundings in the real world. By using headphones or speakers, VR systems can deliver sounds that seem to originate from specific locations within the virtual environment. For example, if a virtual dog barks behind you in a VR game, you'll hear the bark coming from behind you just as you would in real life. This spatial awareness adds another layer of realism to the VR experience, tricking our brains into believing we are truly present in the virtual world. Section 5. Beyond Entertainment, VR's Expanding Universe. VR is often associated with gaming and entertainment, but its potential extends far beyond. From education and healthcare to engineering, VR is set to revolutionize various industries. In education, VR can transport students to distant lands or immerse them in historical events. In healthcare, VR trains surgeons, treats phobias, and aids in rehabilitation. These examples show how VR is solving real-world problems and improving lives. Section 6. Learning by doing VR in education and training. Imagine a classroom where history lessons come alive, students can dissect a human heart without picking up a scalpel, and field trips can transport you to the Amazon rainforest or the surface of Mars. This is the promise of virtual reality in education. VR allows for immersive, experiential learning that traditional teaching methods simply can't replicate. Students can interact with their surroundings, experiment with different scenarios, and learn by doing, rather than simply reading or listening. But VR's potential in education extends far beyond the classroom. In the realm of professional training, VR is proving to be an invaluable tool for industries ranging from healthcare to manufacturing to space exploration. From training surgeons to perform complex procedures, to teaching astronauts how to operate in zero gravity, VR simulations offer a safe and controlled environment to practice real-world skills without the risk of real-world consequences. This experiential learning leads to better retention, improved performance, and increased confidence. Section 7. The doctor will see you now virtually. The healthcare industry is on the cusp of a VR revolution. Imagine a world where doctors can treat patients thousands of miles away, surgeons can practice complex procedures without risk, and patients suffering from phobias can confront their fears in a safe and controlled environment. VR is already being used to train surgeons on complex procedures, allowing them to hone their skills on virtual patients before stepping into the operating room. This not only improves patient safety but also allows surgeons to practice rare and complex cases that they might not otherwise encounter. VR is also being used to treat a variety of mental health conditions such as phobias, anxiety disorders, and PTSD. By creating realistic simulations of feared situations, VR therapy allows patients to confront their fears in a safe and controlled environment, gradually building up their tolerance and reducing their anxiety. And in the realm of physical therapy, VR is helping patients recover from strokes, spinal cord injuries, and other conditions that affect mobility. By creating engaging and interactive games, VR therapy motivates patients to push their physical limits and regain lost function. Section 8. Bridging Distances VR for Remote Work and Collaboration. Imagine attending a meeting with colleagues from around the globe, brainstorming ideas on a virtual whiteboard, and collaborating on projects in real time, all without leaving your home office. This is the promise of VR for remote work and collaboration. VR can bridge geographical distances, allowing teams to work together in a shared virtual space, regardless of their physical location. This not only reduces travel costs and time but also fosters a sense of presence and connection that is often lacking in traditional video conferencing. Imagine architects from different continents reviewing three-dimensional models of buildings together, their hands moving through the virtual space, pointing out details and suggesting changes, or picture engineers collaborating on a complex design project, their avatars huddled around a virtual engine, manipulating parts and testing solutions in real time. VR has the potential to transform the way we work, making remote collaboration more efficient, engaging, and productive. As the technology continues to evolve and become more accessible, we can expect to see VR become an integral part of the modern workplace. Section 9. The Hurdles on the Path to Virtual Utopia. While the potential of VR is undeniable, there are still some hurdles to overcome before it becomes as commonplace as smartphones or laptops. These challenges range from technical limitations and high costs to ethical concerns and social implications. One of the most common complaints from VR users is motion sickness, often caused by a disconnect between what the eyes are seeing and what the body is feeling. This can be mitigated by improvements in display technology, frame rates, and motion tracking, but it remains a barrier for some users. The cost of VR hardware and software is another obstacle to widespread adoption. While the price of VR headsets has come down in recent years, a high-end setup can still be a significant investment, putting it out of reach for many consumers and institutions. There are also ethical concerns surrounding VR, such as privacy and data security, as well as the potential for addiction and the blurring of lines between reality and virtuality. As with any transformative technology, it's crucial to address these concerns proactively to ensure that VR is used responsibly and ethically. Section 10. A Future Painted in Virtual Hues. Despite these challenges, the future of VR is bright. As technology continues to advance at an exponential pace, we can expect to see VR headsets become lighter, cheaper, and more immersive. Imagine a future where VR headsets are as ubiquitous as smartphones are today, where we can seamlessly transition from the real world to virtual environments and back again. Imagine attending virtual concerts, traveling to distant lands, or even experiencing what it's like to be another person, all from the comfort of our own homes. The possibilities of VR are limited only by our imaginations. As we continue to explore the potential of this groundbreaking technology, we can expect to see VR reshape our world in profound and unexpected ways. Section 11. Conclusion. Are we living in a simulation? As we delve deeper into the world of virtual reality, we can't help but ponder a question that has intrigued philosophers and scientists for centuries. What if our reality is nothing more than a highly sophisticated simulation? While this may seem like a concept straight out of a science fiction movie, some physicists and philosophers believe that it's a distinct possibility. After all, if we can create increasingly realistic virtual worlds, who's to say that we ourselves aren't living in one? Whether or not we're living in a simulation remains a topic for debate, but one thing is for sure: virtual reality is blurring the lines between the real and the virtual, forcing us to reconsider the nature of reality itself. As we continue to push the boundaries of this transformative technology, we may just find that the only limit to what we can experience is the power of our own imaginations.